For the second year running, on the 21st of February, Team Clocked will be taking part in a 24-hour video games marathon to help raise money and awareness for a charity very close to our hearts, Special Effect. We appreciate you will be donating your hard-earned money to our Just Giving page set up for Special Effect. We are also very thankful that some of you will be donating a lot of your time watching us play games, and also to join in on the conversation. Therefore, we feel it is only right that you should all get to know a little bit more about who we are and why we are playing video games to help others who find this enjoyable pastime such a challenging experience.
First experiences of video games probably go back to when I was about 3 or 4. I wasn't really much of a gamer then. It was my older brother, who was 4 years older than me. He was the gamer in the family, and he had a ZX Spectrum game. Now, at that time I wasn't really bothered about it. You know, I wanted to be in the room when he was in there, and as kids tend to do. My role as a younger brother was to wind him up when he made a mistake, and that all culminated with one of my brother's prized cassettes getting snapped in half by my dad, and after that I wasn't allowed to be in the room when he was playing games anymore, and that probably would have been it until around 1989. I think it was Christmas, and my brother had just got a copy of Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles for the Spectrum. At that time I was an absolute die-hard fan of Hero Turtles. Anything, action figures, stickers, collectible coins, you name it, I had it. So from that point I was back in the room again. You could never get us out of there. I was watching every game that he played. I got the occasional game myself, and that was it. And really at that point, once I knew that I could play games that had subject matter so close to what I enjoyed, that was it. I wanted to be involved all the time.
First experience playing video games was one of the models of the Ataris that my dad used to have. He might still have it. He used to get that downstairs every now and again. It was a beautiful wooden cabinet with these horrible little joysticks with one really big red button on it. And he had Phoenix, which was basically just like Space Invaders but maybe a little bit more elaborate. And he would get that down some mornings and we would just play for hours and hours. It was so much fun. My dad wasn't really much of a gamer, but he kept that from when he was a kid. It was awesome.
I became a handheld gamer. I always wanted a Nintendo Game Boy, but my mum purchased Sega Game Gear for us because she thought that the Game Boy screen would damage my eyes. And one Christmas in particular, I'd asked for a bunch of Game Gear games for Christmas. Came racing downstairs on Christmas Day, eager to open them, only to find that every single one that I opened was the game that I'd asked for, but it was for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis. So there was a very disappointed little boy on Christmas Day piling the games up, about to slide them across the floor to my brother so that he could play them, and at the last second I turned, had a look at my little pile of presents, and right at the back there was one big box. I ripped that box open. There was my own console, my own Sega Mega Drive, and then that was it from that point.
We went to a local toy store and they had a Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis set up with Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so good. I remember that my mum would go around the shop just having a look around. She knew exactly where I was because I would just be spending so much time playing Sonic. I was awful at it, you know. It was, I'd never had that experience. It was like a D-pad with buttons and everything. It was just, my hand-eye coordination was awful. I couldn't even do the first act, but I knew that this was something that I wanted to do probably for the rest of my life. It was just so colourful, so vibrant, the sound was great. I just never experienced anything like it. It was so good. So yeah, that's why I play video games at the minute.
The games that meant the most to me growing up, I was a 90s kid, so the games that all meant the most to me were the kind of seminal games in the Sega and Nintendo console war. So it was all Sonic the Hedgehog for me, Streets of Rage, the countless hours that I spent in these games, which were really, in retrospect, very, very short, but it didn't stop you from coming back, playing them over and over again. Jungle Strike, which was a helicopter game by EA, and at that point, it was the most incredible graphics that I'd ever seen. There's a little introduction scene at the beginning, which was probably the first kind of 3D graphics I'd seen on a console, and that was just absolutely blew my mind.
Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic. That was basically my childhood for like years and years and years. I don't know what it was. I think it was because that was the first sort of game I probably spent so much time on. But when they announced the second one and then the third one, it was just getting that on Christmas was just the best. And I would put so many hours into it, Sonic on Knuckles, and then spend all that time getting the emeralds and getting Super Sonic and Super Knuckles. It was just amazing. It was such a good experience. Flashback was so good because it was just, I'd never seen anything like it. They used this really weird motion capture type technology to have run and jump, and it was so hard, but it was a learning curve. And every time I played it, I felt I was getting further and further and further. And I just loved the world, I loved the music, I loved the artwork. It was just amazing. Echo the Dolphin, even though it was probably one of the hardest games I've played, I never actually finished it. I think I got like level 4 of like 30 or something like that. It was just, it sticks out so much. It was just amazing. It was such a good game.
Moved up from the Mega Drive, I then went on to a Sony PlayStation, Final Fantasy VII, which was kind of the big game at the time. I'd never really played a role-playing game before, but there was something about it that kind of said, this is something that I really need to play. I got it for Christmas that year, and that kind of sparked a massive love of role-playing games. I've played every Final Fantasy game since then. I've become a huge role-playing game fan. So that really, looking back, means a lot, because that started my real love of a genre that I never thought that I would be interested in ordinarily. Metal Gear Solid, that sort of narrative and storytelling was something that I'd never seen before in a game. For me, it had always been about just general platforming and running around. That sort of immersion and story was absolutely incredible, and it stuck with us ever since that first playthrough, and I'll still go back and play it anytime I can.
Die Hard Trilogy, and Die Hard Trilogy was like, again, it was 3D graphics. You think, oh my god, I've never ever seen this before, and it was, I mean, it was awful. I mean, the bodies were just terrible, but I had such a good time playing that, especially when you did the driving sections. But I remember like getting together with friends, and we would put all the cheats in, and the cheats were just so stupid. Like, it was just, you would be crying with laughter, and that sticks out so much for me. Final Fantasy VIII was a huge one as well. You know, the run up to Final Fantasy VIII was amazing. WWF Attitude, which was, you know, despite the promises that were, you know, that were leading up to it in magazines and the press, despite that it was barely any of what was said, it was still so much fun. And you know, we would get together and we would plan our pay-per-views, we would plan what they were going to be called, they were creating characters and everything like that, and I always go back to that.
What makes special effect important? It's the incredible work that they do to help others enjoy video gaming. And I had a little look on the website, and immediately it resonated. It was yeah, this is important. And I went on the YouTube channel and I looked at some of the case studies and some of the work that they were doing, and I was just in awe. Every single video that I watched just made us feel really proud of the work that they're doing, and you can see the kind of the results, the reactions to the kids and the grown-ups when they're able to use games again. And at that time I also found out about Gameblast. Now, I've never played games really for more than kind of a couple of hours at a time, and we've all got work, we've got homes to run, we've got families, so to be honest, I didn't even think that I was going to get a couple of my friends kind of bought into the idea of doing it.
When I got the message off Graham about Gameblast last year, I thought, wow, what an awesome idea. We're never going to do that. just because we don't have the resources, we haven't got the time. There's 6 or 7 people who are going to be involved in this. When are we ever going to get them together to do this? And I thought, yeah, it's quite nice, but never mind. No, we're not going to be able to do it. And then we're talking about it more and more, and the more we started throwing ideas around, the more passionate people got about it. And it was amazing to see everyone's drive to get this working. It was so good to have every person contribute to last year's live stream that we did for Gameblast.
Such a good time doing it last year. We didn't really know what we were doing. We've got a couple of really good tech guys who kind of put all of the stream together and did the design wonderful. And we're really just looking to take it bigger and better this year. So we managed to raise a good deal of money last year. We smashed our target, so we've gone a little bit more ambitious this year. But we're confident that we can smash it and help Special Effect to meet their own goal for the day and far surpass it.
Seems mystifying to me that there's people out there who can't just pick up a controller and turn on a game. It's like, how is that possible? And that's my ignorance. The fact that someone's out there that can provide this support for all these people is just amazing. And if there's anything that I take out of playing video games when I get older, it's the fact that at least I've been able to do my hobby to help other people. That is the #1 reward. That's all we ever want to do. That's why we have to do it again this year, and that's why we have to make it bigger and better, raise more money. That's what it's all about.
It's giving other people who ordinarily wouldn't have the chance to play video games the chance to experience it and get as much out of it as we do. So it's so important. And yeah, it's if you don't know anything about Special Effect now, pop onto their website and have a look, and you'll be amazed.
To find out more about the Video Gamers charity, please visit specialeffect.org.uk. You don't have to wait until the 21st of February to support Special Effect. Please visit justgiving.com/teamclocked2015, and you can also donate by texting TCGB85 and then your donation to 70070. To find out more about our plans for Gameblast 2015, you can follow us on Twitter @teamclocked, and you can watch the 24-hour live stream at twitch.tv/teamclocked.